Rivals, welcome to the classroom. Today we are doing a bit of a different type of video and going over blank characters that we need in Marvel Rivals. On December 6th, 2024, the world received a gift from the heavens, a boon of God's love, angelic perfection made into ones and zeros. Overwatch. But Marvel. Actually, scratch that, it came out on the 5th. And this is the greatest game ever created. Guys, this game is so fun. Doctor Strange, Loki, Penny Parker, Hawkeye, Iron Fist. Man, I suck at him, but that sound is great. Rivals already has a pretty stacked cast with obscure picks and a few characters I definitely would have expected to be later, easier picks to bring people back into the game. But truthfully, Marvel and NetEase could have put in a billion of the heaviest hitters for the base roster, and there would still be an infinite amount of amazing characters to pick from. Since 2016, we've seen more Overwatch clones than we have shared universes and assassination attempts. But Marvel Rivals has the leg up that every Concord and Thomas Matthew Crooks doesn't. A bullseye. Which is to say, access to Marvel's incredibly deep bench of characters. So today we're going to be doing what every nerd YouTuber has been and will be doing for the foreseeable future, and speculating on what characters they could add to Marvel Rivals. Just my idea and my video obviously will be better.
I'm Daredevil.
No you're not, but you just say that so cool. Our first character is one that I'm most surprised isn't already in the game, since Matt Murdock, the Daredevil, is one of Marvel's most popular characters, especially of the past decade. Rivals already has a lot of characters that swing around, and even more of them who punch or otherwise hit people with implements, which is why we're going to lean more into Daredevil's other strengths, unfortunately not his legal strengths, however. His primary attack will be a combo with his billy clubs, but Daredevil's real strength will be wall hacks. His passive will be World on Fire, where enemies within 2 meters of Matt are visible to him through walls. This passive is essentially going to be the foundation of his entire kit, with his first ability being a radial scan going out from Daredevil that will briefly highlight enemies. The real key of this ability, however, is that after enemies are highlighted, Daredevil will be able to ping them for his teammates. Because you people need to learn to ping. He can have a billy club toss ability to make some distance for himself, kinda like Brigitte, but the main aspect will be the pinging. Because you people need to learn to ping. And in that spirit, his ultimate will be a brief state where the entire map has his scan active. Kinda like his own Widowmaker ultimate. This game is an Overwatch derivative, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. In this state, Daredevil can still ping the highlighted enemies, but also moves faster and inflicts more damage. Because clearly nothing is more Daredevil than just going ham in a hallway. For a team-up ability, I think he could have enemies be highlighted after Punisher hits them with his turret, or Moon Knight lands a hit with an Ankh. Obviously, he needs at least one Frank Miller / Netflix skin, and hey, throw in the I'm not Daredevil sweater too, why not? Now, if there's one thing Marvel Rivals desperately needs, it's more villains, and to sponsor me, please. Of Marvel Rivals' 33 characters, there is like one actual villain. It's Hela. And I don't want to hear anything about these characters. These are not villains anymore. And there's one villain from my favorite corner of Marvel that I would absolutely love as a new Vanguard in this game. A man so vile, he can only be described as sinister. Dr. Nathaniel Essex, aka Mr. Sinister, is one of the most vile, irredeemable, long-running ex-characters of the franchise. Meaning he's only been a good guy like one time. One of the characters I've been having the most fun with lately is Loki. The Master of Mischief has a high skill floor, but once you get used to the tempo of placing and switching between your clones, he is incredibly rewarding. And the one class that I feel is lacking in this game so far is the Vanguards, the tanks. While Groot and Penny Parker are bigger brain options, most of them don't feel so great to me. I do really like Doctor Strange though. Mr. Sinister would be centered around his ability to create clones of himself. Whether it's in the comics, the shows, Marvel Snap, making clones and being Sinister is his thing. Sinister's clones will be tankier than Loki's due to Sinister being a tank, but upon death they'll also explode into a spray of acid blood, leaving a pool behind, like if a xenomorph got hit by a train. His primary ability will be a clone cast, but with a shorter range and longer cooldown than Loki's, since Sinister's primary fire and energy bursts from his hands will deal more damage and do damage over time. One direct tanking ability, which I think the Vanguard cast is lacking, will be Endopic Growth, where Sinister and his clone will temporarily grow in size and gain a damage reduction. And as a last-minute escape, which Sinister is famous for, he will be able to swap places with one of his clones, but only if he's below 20% health. And his ultimate will utilize Sinister's telepathic powers. When he activates it, every one of your teammates will appear to the opponent as Mr. Sinister, meaning we will have flying Sinisters, but that's okay, he can do that. While the main Sinister will deal far more damage than his original state, and his damage over time attacks will last until the ultimate ends. Obviously, his default outfit will be classic Sinister, shredded cape and all, but for one alternate look, I was thinking his red suit and tie with a more classic cape. Now, you may notice from this video and from some content coming up that I have a bit of an X-Men bias, and I'm sorry, it's the best thing Marvel has ever created. One of the things I'm most excited to see as Marvel Rivals grows up is the weirder and weirder mechanics they introduce. They've already gotten really inventive with clones, portals, Venom's cheeks. But I had an idea for a new type of mechanic for the strategist class, one that would be incredibly difficult to balance, but if we got it right, this character would dominate games and the 18 to 45 age demographic.
Mojo here, your primetime psycho interdimensional alien TV producer who feeds off ratings.
Mojo will be the tankiest character so far of the strategist class, with a larger frame and larger health pool to compensate. His main attack will be a single-shot laser stinger from the tail on his mechanical chair, as well as having a 3-combo melee attack with his gross long fingers, in case opponents get too close to his gross long fingers. Mojo will also be able to wall crawl and enter a dash state with his chair, but his main support ability will be the Mojo-verse. Mojo will be able to cheer on his fellow teammates, granting them a movement and damage buff, and when they get a kill or an assist, they'll regain health and the ability will last for an additional few seconds. And his ultimate, called Everyone's Watching Now, will grant this state to everyone on his team for a short duration. Now guys, game development is hard. You may have noticed that from my Mojo ultimate. Not my best work, but luckily we have characters waiting to be picked who are the most brain-dead, obvious choices in the world. And right now, I love him for it.
Let's do this one last time. My name is Miles Morales.
Legacy characters are one of the most unique parts of the comic book medium, and Miles Morales' Spider-Man is probably now the most popular one ever. Now, some people may say like, oh, why not just make him a skin? Oh, he'd play the same as Peter. And hey man, at least take off your clan hood before you say some shit like that, okay? Miles will of course have movement abilities, but it'll be closer to Venom or even Moon Knight's than Peter's. Miles will be more damage and stealth focused than Peter, with a less high movement ceiling, more of a combination of Spider-Man and magic than anything else, you'll see. Miles' primary attack will be a punch-kick combo, but with the alternate fire, he can punch out small bursts of electricity. Miles will have a brief invisibility state that he can enter, and when he does, gains access to a supercharged version of his electric punch, dealing more damage and briefly stunning the opponent. I mean, Miles is always stunning the opponents. Love that kid. Miles' kit is gonna be pretty simple. He would push so many people to play the game for the first time, or maybe come back to it depending on when you release him. Now, for his ultimate, I was thinking we could do something a little fun, and let Miles use his electricity sword, which he has now. This is where we bring the magic in, with Miles able to perform sword combos in the air like Ilyana, with each hit briefly stunning the opponent, and if magic is on his team, Miles can briefly travel in and out of limbo portals while in his ultimate. And obviously we can't have Miles without his Nemesis.
I created you. You created me.
Spider-Man, why did you create that guy?
I didn't. He's talking crazy.
I don't know how NetEase plans to do further character releases, but I think a good way to start would be centering each season around the release of one hero and one villain. And I think Miles' nemesis, Jonathan Owen, aka The Spot, would be a great addition to the cast as a strategist. Between Magic and Doctor Strange, this game is already fit for portals. The biggest issue of designing Spot would honestly be keeping the game from crashing, but that's for the nerds and the coding minds. Spot's primary attack will be small projectiles from his fingers, and he should shoot them from finger guns, because finger guns are really cool. Spot won't be able to heal much, but when his teammates are near him, he automatically heals their dimensional energies in a radius around him. His first ability will be similar to Doctor Strange's portal, but with a shorter cooldown and only a 5-second timer from when you can start it to when it can be placed. Primarily used for quick combos and escapes with your team as opponents can't go through them, and Spot will be intangible while placing it, meaning he'll be completely invulnerable to all enemy fire, attacks, and his teammates' healing. One issue I've had playing Strategist in Rivals is teams not sticking together. I swear to God, most of my teams have been occupied by backpack leash kids. So Spot will be able to, in a certain range, pick one of his teammates and instantly teleport them back to his location, dropping a portal under them and above Spot, even through walls. And with a quick movement ability, similar to Hawkeye and Moon Knight's double jump, but where you enter a portal, briefly disappearing before reappearing to complete the jump, and with a longer range too. And for his ultimate, Spot will invert in color, able to use his portals and jump without any cooldown at all, but the real ultimate ability will be your gaming contraption not exploding. Now, the last character, I couldn't really find a clip I wanted to use to introduce, which is just further evidence that Marvel needs me at the helm, because this character, Hisako Ichiki, aka Armor, is such a clear pick for Rivals. Armor, to me, is one of the most brain-dead obvious but still obscure picks for a Vanguard in Rivals. Armor was recently the star of Peach Momoko's Ultimate X-Men, one of the best, most unique comics the company has put out in decades. Hisako is able to summon a psionic exoskeleton armor from her body with her mutant ability, greatly increasing her effective size, strength, and durability. She'll be able to go in and out of her armored state, blocking massive amounts of damage at will, with it using a resource meter like Diva's defense matrix. When Hisako is in her armored state, her primary attack will be a simple 3-punch combo. But when the armored state is down, she'll be able to move faster and shoot an energy blast from her hand as her primary fire. The last wrinkle on Armor's kit will be her charge fire. When in the armored state, every hit Hisako gets will charge up a meter, designating the power of your next energy blast shot. Taking a ton of damage in your armored mode and then switching to secure at least one kill as Hisako will be the foundation of her kit, with her ultimate armor granting everyone on her team a layer of armor, which will also charge up Hisako's energy blasts, but for more than just one shot. And obviously, Armor will need a Peach Momoko skin. We can even give her the Armor Omamori and have it glow when she activates it. Folks, thank you so much for joining me as always, but unfortunately that is the video for this week. Yeah, if you have any ideas or something in the comments, leave them there. Put a like, and subscribe. I'm gonna go play more Rivals. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching that video, and if you made it to this point, a double thank you as always, thank you so much. Rivals is so fun. Guys, this game is fucking awesome. What characters have I really been liking? Like I said, I really enjoy Loki so far. The one that, like, I guess over the production of this video that, like, I've started to like the most in comparison to when I started making this video, so, like, most improved, would probably be Penny Parker, on, like, domination maps. She's great, like, either way, obviously. I also really like using her when you're, like, stopping the payloads so that, like, the enemy is always, like, forced to, like, basically, like, interact with your spider net things. But yeah, she's been really fun. I, like, bought my first skin last night with the free currency. I got the Loki, like, Frost Giant one, because I think it's the best of, like, that tier of skin that they have. But anyways, for my collection this week, oh, happy holidays, by the way. I hope that everyone's holidays have been well so far. But I have Peach Momoko's Ultimate X-Men #1. What is this one called? Fears and Hates. This was absolutely awesome. They're doing some different stuff, like, with the mutant gene and, like, what it is really. But basically, it's set in Japan, kind of like in that period between, like, middle school and high school is where Hisako is at in her life, and she's forming a little mutant team, a little, like, proto X-Men type thing. The villain is also really cool so far. His, like, powers are illustrated really incredibly. I mean, the main thing, I don't like that these Ultimate comics from Marvel are $20. I feel like this is not enough for $20, but when Peach Momoko's doing it, it could be worth $20,000. No one tell Marvel I said that, because I will pay that. But thank you all so much for watching that video. I got some really exciting stuff coming up, but I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.